Virgin Galactic has successfully completed a test flight into space, the first time in more than 2 years. This is footage of the VSS Unity after setting off in New Mexico on Saturday. Incredible pictures. Alex absolutely terrified on this critical step in the company and its journey towards commercial space tourism, Alex. And we're really kind of looking forward to finding out when the next flight is. I want to know about what kind of training you're going to need to get up there.
Yeah, okay, so let's ask it. It is truly terrifying. And it also sent Virgin Galactic shares skyrocketing this morning as well. So joining us for more, Virgin Galactic CEO Michael Koglaser joins us now. So Michael, lots of questions for you. Guys excited and I'm terrified. When's your next test flight?
Well, let's start here. This was my first space flight that I had a chance to watch since joining the company. And I knew what to expect. I knew everything about it. We were trying. But the responses and the words I used when I called my family afterwards were different than I expected. It was beautiful. Just watching it go was elegant. And when the ship is actually in space, it is graceful in the way it moves. And so it's very different words than I would have guessed in that regard. But we had 3 big points we were trying to do in this test flight. The first was to test a new set of digital controllers that we have for the pilots, give them tighter steering. It worked flawlessly. It went really as it curved just straight up into space in a beautiful flight. Second thing we were doing was to ensure that we had the electromagnetic interference issue that had delayed us from earlier in the year. And all the work that we had done on that completely eliminated that problem for us. And then finally, we collected data that we sent over to the FAA. And we believe that will give us a great opportunity for them to analyze it and then hopefully clear our license for commercial flight. So all in all, just a beautiful day.
Michael, it's Guy in London. So what's the journey between now and that point, that license being achieved? What needs to happen? When's the next flight? What sort of milestones does that next flight have to achieve?
Sure. Well, this was our 3rd flight to space with humans, the first from the state of New Mexico. Which is a beautiful, beautiful place to look back down upon the planet. And what follows next, we have 3 more flights in our test flight program. Our next one will come up with a full crew of mission specialists in the back, in addition to our 2 pilots. That one will be followed with a repeat, but we're asking our founder, Richard Branson, to come on and really test the private astronaut experience for us. We think who better to do that. And both of those we expect to happen this summer. And then that will be followed by our final test flight that's planned with the Italian Air Force, really showcasing how our space system's used for microgravity science research, as well as professional astronaut training. And we think that will likely happen late summer, early fall.
So let's get to that in terms of the pre-flight training. So Guy and I were going back and forth on this. How healthy do you have to be? What kind of training does there have to be for a regular person to eventually book a flight on this?
So what's really unique about Virgin Galactic is we take the first 50,000 feet or so with the airplane technology. So we take off horizontally on our mothership, climbs out to 40, 45, 50,000 feet. And then from there, the spaceship drops and then rockets up. So it's powerful, but reasonably smooth because we've gone through the heaviest part of the atmosphere, just like you would in a commercial airliner. It's really important to stay fit in general. But it's not something that needs unique, years and years of training. So we recommend people stay flexible because they want to be moving around in a weightless environment and kind of looking out all the windows. But generally, we think as long as people are taking care of themselves, lots and lots and lots of people will be able to go with us.
Okay, so not much training. Alex was concerned that I was getting a little bit old. Maybe,
I was worried.
Maybe it's something I should think about. Let's talk about price. In terms of this venture going forward, Michael, this is a question that I'm surprised I'm asking, but I guess we've got to think about it going forward. What is the path to profitability? When do you think this is profitable? Once it starts getting up and running and you kind of get through the initial kind of phase on this and this becomes more commonplace, are you going to be making money off this? When do you think you're going to be making money off this?
Well, the first thing we're needing to do, obviously, finish this test flight program and then move into commercial service. And we believe this is going to be a supply-constrained business for quite some time. The demand of this is going to be well out in front of our ability to build and scale the fleet up for a while. And as such, it will be reasonably expensive as it goes forward. Our previous 600 people generally had a price around 250,000 each. We have not announced what our pricing will be going forward. We've said it will be higher in the beginning. We do see pricing of around $600,000 for our per seat equivalent for our microgravity research flights. But again, we have not put pricing out for the private astronaut market. But from that, I think you'll see the unit economics of this very compelling. So we expect to have very solid margins. And what we're really then trying to do is scale our fleet up. We've been working in an R&D and prototyping phase for years, doing something really hard. We're now pivoting to the manufacturing phase to build the fleet.
So, Michael, is the goal to that to get more seats at a higher price, or is the goal to that to get scale, to get regular people like Guy and I to get up there at cheaper prices?
It is to get you, Guy, and thousands and tens of thousands of people like you up into space. So we'll be building a fleet of vehicles, working to turn them quickly with a fleet of motherships to go with it. And we do want to be able to eventually bring these price points down so that more and more people have access into space. So it's complicated at the beginning, and most industries at the beginning start out on the higher side of the prices, but we do expect to be able to bring those down over time. It will still be a very profitable business model, but Alex and Guy, I know who to call when you're ready.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Me, not Alex. Michael, let's talk about something that is having a really big impact on the rest of the aviation sector. Every conversation I have with an airline CEO right now, one of the questions that we talk about is, how do I reduce my carbon footprints? What is my carbon footprint going to look like? How green is this industry going to be going forward? Are you thinking about that as a challenge at this point?
We are thinking about it, and I think it's really important, especially as commercial space private astronauts move forward. We have a focus right off the bat on reusability, which is really critical. The vast bulk of our efforts are done with a reusable spaceship. We like the fact that we use aircraft technology to carry us up through the first 50,000 feet of the atmosphere. And we need to invest, as others will in the commercial space industry, to continue to find further ways to bring this as a sustainable business. So I think it's important going forward. We're putting our best efforts into it now, and we'll be continuing to put efforts in as this business starts to grow and scale.